guys, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am a first-time mom-to-be, and I started my channel to kind of document my pregnancy journey. My first video is a reaction video to when I found out that I was pregnant again, 5 weeks after a miscarriage. And then my second video is a 20-week update, and in that video I just kind of talk about how my pregnancy's been going and kind of some of the challenges of being pregnant again following a miscarriage. So I'm back with my third trimester update, so if you're interested to see how things have been for the past 10 weeks, then just keep on watching. So in my last video, I mentioned that Connor and I were just about to leave to Europe for 2.5 weeks. We were going on our baby moon. We went to France and Italy, and it was probably the best thing we could have ever done for the two of us. So we went between weeks 20 and 23, and it was great. I was feeling amazing. I wasn't too big to the point where I was uncomfortable yet. The weather was still really nice in Europe. It was warmer than it is here in Canada, but it wasn't hot. We kind of beat the tourist season because of the time that we went. We went end of May, beginning of June, and so we kind of got to beat all the crowds. I didn't really have any issues traveling. My midwife cleared me to go before we left. And yeah, it was just like the best time ever. And I highly recommend that all parents, but especially first-time parents, do something, even if it's just a weekend away before baby comes, because it's never going to be just the two of you again. And even if like you two are traveling on your own, you're going to have somebody at home that you're kind of worrying about. So we had such a good time, and I took all of this video footage because I wanted to put together a little vlog, but I just haven't had time to, oh, my hubby is calling me. But anyways, yeah, so baby moon, if you have a chance to do it, I definitely recommend you do it. I was taking all of this video footage because I wanted to put together a little vlog, but in between school and both my jobs and getting ready for the baby, I just haven't had time to put it together. So maybe one day you'll see it, maybe not, who knows. But I guess the most exciting thing that happened when we went to Europe is we got engaged, which is super exciting. Connor proposed to me at the Eiffel Tower, and it was amazing and everything I could have ever imagined it to be. So 2021, we'll be having a wedding. We've got to focus on baby first. So back to traveling while pregnant. The time that we went was probably the best. They recommend that you travel between weeks 18 and 24 because you've got your energy back, you feel good, but the risk of preterm labor is still relatively low. So that's why we went when we did, and it was great because I was like pregnant enough looking that I kind of got some benefits from it, and European people just love pregnant women. I mean, I guess most people love pregnant women for the most part. Yeah, so I was still moving, no problem. We went on a 12K hike one day, no issues. I mean, we're moving a little bit slower than we would have had I not been pregnant, but it wasn't that big of a deal. So we had a really good time, and yeah, everybody should do it. Also, in the last video, I mentioned that I had my anatomy scan and that I was told by the OB there that everything was good and baby was as healthy could be. When I went to see my midwife when we got back, she kind of gave me a little bit more detailed information about baby. So they're measuring in the 74th percentile in terms of weight, which is so odd because Connor and I were both not big babies. Like I was 6 pounds 4 ounces, he was 6 pounds 10 ounces, but he was a twin. So I guess like he was kind of on the bigger side, but I don't know. But anyways, they're in the 74th percentile, so we got a chubby little baby on our hands so far. I did do the gestational diabetes test that they recommend all pregnant women do. And because I don't know much about my medical history, I was like, doesn't hurt. It's a simple procedure, like you drink a sugary drink and get some blood taken. And so I knew what the test entailed, but I swear nobody ever talks about the fact that you can go into sugar shock. I drank the drink no problem. I mean, it tastes like syrup. It's not the most exciting thing ever, but it's not horrible. But then like 10 minutes after I drank it, I started like having like hot flashes, and I felt like I was gonna get sick and pass out. And basically it's just because your body isn't meant to have that much sugar ingested at one time. And so it was horrible. I was terrified about driving home because I was like, I feel like so sick, and I ended up napping the rest of the day because I had a horrible headache and it wouldn't go away. And the gestational diabetes test is not fun. But I passed, so luckily I didn't have to do that again. They also tested my iron levels during the same lab visit or whatever, and my iron levels were low, which is not surprising because I have low iron pre-pregnancy, but they're just a little bit concerned when it comes to delivery. So I've been taking iron supplements for years, and so now I kind of had to up my iron supplement intake just because we're trying to prevent problems that can arise during labor. I don't eat red meat really, and that can make it really difficult to get the proper amount of iron. I know there are other foods that are iron rich, but your body absorbs them best from meat, and I just don't like meat, so that's difficult. And I also got the Tdap vaccination, which is the pertussis vaccination for whooping cough that they recommend now to women in Canada between, I think it's 27 and 32 weeks. To me, it wasn't a question. It was, you know, if I could do anything to help protect my baby. So what it is you get the vaccination, and then your body's supposed to build up all of these antibodies that are passed on through the baby, through the placenta. So just because people aren't vaccinating their children anymore, so there's been a lot of outbreaks in whooping cough and stuff like that around here, and a baby can't protect themselves when they're under 2 months old. So it was not a question for me. I got it. Connor didn't have to get it because he had it less than a year ago. But some of the symptoms I've been having this trimester are the crazy Charlie horses that wake you up in the middle of the night, that they literally send me flying out of bed because my leg muscles will be contracting so hard in my calves that it hurts. And the only thing that makes it feel better is when I put my feet down flat on the ground. I have lower back pain when I stand for too long, so I'm still bartending and serving for a couple more weeks. And if I work longer than 5 hours or so, I can feel it in my back, or if I've done a lot of running around during that particular shift, I can definitely feel it. But I actually expected to have a lot worse back pain than I've had, just because I had horrible back pain in the first trimester. And they thought it was because the baby was maybe sitting, or my uterus was sitting on a nerve. But luckily it hasn't been that bad. I've had some swelling in my feet. So one of my jobs is I work in an office, and my practicum, I'm spending a lot of time sitting at a desk. And when I do that, my feet swell up like balloons and they look like sausages, and it's really funny. But I mean, it's just because I'm sitting for as long as I've been sitting. A little bit of heartburn. I've only had to take Tums twice, luckily. I've had really dry skin. Like, I've had dry skin before, but it's a million times worse in pregnancy. And it's like, I feel like no matter what I do, my skin is like flaking off. That's gross, but it's true. Like, I cannot keep my skin hydrated. My hair is wild. I've got all of these little baby hairs that fly all over the place, and it's poofy, and there's nothing I can do to kind of help save my hair. I don't know. My last appointment, which was about a week and a half ago, closer to 2 weeks ago, I'm going again on Monday. My uterus is measuring 30 centimeters from my pelvic bone to the top, which was right on track because I was 28 weeks at the time. And as of today's date, I've gained 28 pounds, which I'm not even letting it freak me out, because like the recommended weight gain for my BMI was 25 to 35 pounds, and I'm definitely on the higher end of normal. But I mean, what can you do? Like, I haven't really changed anything. I mean, I eat more fruits and veggies, and I eat more in general, but not because I've adapted the, oh, I'm eating for two mentality. It's because I'm genuinely just hungry more. So I'm not going to deprive myself. I'm just going to eat, and postpartum me can worry about the weight, I guess. What can you do? And the final thing that I found out I had at my last appointment was diastasis recti, which is where your abdominal muscles separate. So I had noticed when I would I noticed it particularly in the bath, when I would pull myself up, my stomach would go into this weird position, but I thought it was just like a normal thing that happened in pregnancy. So my midwife was feeling around, and she was like, can you lean up for me a little bit? And so I did, and she was like, yeah, you have diastasis recti. She was like, so don't do that anymore. And so it causes a little bit of pain up in here every once in a while, and I have to roll over onto my side in order to get up to avoid using my abdominal muscles. So I told the midwife, I was like, oh, I thought that was normal. And she was just like, yeah, no. I mean, a lot of pregnant women, do have diastasis recti, but that's not a normal thing that your body should do. And I was like, oh, okay. A super, super active little baby in my belly. They're constantly moving and kicking and doing God knows what in there, but it's really reassuring. I love being able to feel them move. It can be very distracting sometimes, and they make it very hard to sleep, but I did have a little bit of a scare, and I was actually hospitalized for a couple days. So I woke up one night in the middle of the night, and I was in so much pain. My back hurts, not my back, but it was like my side, like in here, was in so much pain that it was like, it was coming in waves, and I felt so nauseous from it. So it was like 3 a.m. so I took a bath. Wasn't really helping me. I was walking around like I could not stay still because it made me so uncomfortable. And I was like, I know I'm not in labor. Like this is like contractions should not be felt up here. So I called my midwife and they were like, well, I don't really know, but it never hurts to go and get checked out and triage. So I did, and it turns out I had pyelonephritis, which is a kidney infection that is caused by an untreated UTI. But I had absolutely no symptoms of a UTI, which is like asymptomatic bacteria. It can happen a lot in pregnant women, but I've actually had pyelonephritis twice in the past year and many, many, many untreated UTIs just because I don't get symptoms. I just, all of a sudden I get really terrible flank pain because my kidneys are inflamed. So the problem with pyelonephritis in pregnancy is that it's known for causing preterm labor. So we had to stay for a couple days where they gave me some IV antibiotics, and then I had 10 days of oral antibiotics, and I actually have to go drop off a pee sample today because I just finished them a couple days ago and they want to make sure that it's gone. The thing that sucked about it is because I've had pyelonephritis before, I was like, just give me the drugs, let me go home. But they were like, no, you have to stay, we have to monitor you. And I was so bored. I hated being trapped in a hospital room and in a hospital bed. Like, baby's okay. And I never suspected that anything was wrong with the baby. The baby was moving around just like they were supposed to. Like whenever they would strap the little monitor to my stomach, the baby would constantly kick the Doppler. So I was like, I know you're fine. Nothing's abnormal there. But, you know, I appreciate that they took the proper precautions. And so now that's something I kind of have to keep an eye out for the next 10 weeks to make sure that doesn't happen again. So yeah, so that's pretty much everything that's happened in the past 10 weeks. We've been getting the nursery together. I'm sitting in the nursery right now, and it's really exciting. Things are kind of coming together. My last appointment, we actually kind of developed a little bit of a birth plan. I'm attempting to go as natural as possible when it comes to labor. I think that, you know, epidurals for sure, they have their purpose. There's a reason why they're there, but I think that our bodies were designed to do this, and I don't want to go into labor being like, yep, I'm getting an epidural for sure. I mean, if I'm laboring for a really long time and I need to sleep, an epidural is something that will help me do that. Or if I have really bad back labor, you know, an epidural is going to help make it a lot more bearable. But my midwife and I talked about different methods for laboring naturally and natural pain management. And then Connor and I are going to a prenatal class in August that will kind of help us learn the breathing techniques and different things like that. So my hope is to labor at home as long as possible because, as you can tell, I hate being stuck in a hospital. And so we're going to try and keep me at home until I'm about 6 or 7 centimeters dilated. I'll go to the hospital, give birth, everything's all good. They'll ship me home, which is, I know things don't ever go according to plan, but that's kind of like a little bit of what our basic plan is, and we're hopefully going to avoid the epidural. So I'll do a little bit of a bump date. I found that as I've gone on, the baby seems to move sitting up higher, which is weird. The midwife had mentioned around when I was 27 weeks that she was pretty sure that the baby had dropped because I had really, really had pelvis pain and I could feel my pelvis shifting when I walked. And she was like, first time moms, babies can drop pretty early. But then when I look at pictures of myself, I'm like, my stomach is still so high. It's very strange. So, this is my little belly. When I took my 30-week photo yesterday, I was like, wow, I'm very large. And I see why people think it's strange that I'm still waitressing, but we're getting to the end. I can't believe it. I don't know if I'll have another update before the baby comes because I think they're gonna come early. I don't think I'm gonna go all the way to 40 weeks. Maybe that's just me wishful thinking, but I guess we'll see. Till next time, thanks for watching.